Okay, so today most probably we may complete the module 5. Hopefully, we'll see to what extent we can do. Because see, module 3 is basically having only two topics, two major topics. Of course, when you see the syllabus, you'll have multiple topics. But basically, the main two topics are CNN architectures, and the other one is transfer learning. Transfer learning is a very small topic, but it's important for your projects. Okay, so this we will see later, but as of now, at least CNN architectures, we are already in the process of discussing this. So we already completed two CNN architectures, LayNet architecture, and the other one is LXNet architecture. Okay. Now in this sequence, the next one is ZFNet. See guys, do not worry about, sir, should we remember all these layers, configurations, all that things. I already have told this answer previously. You don't need to remember the configuration, but you have to remember the sequence at least for basic architectures. Okay. There is no mandate to remember everything, but at least see the pattern involved in it and accordingly remember it. Maybe at the end I'll tell you what minimal points that you have to remember across these architectures. But let us jump into the next architecture called ZFNet. ZFNet has taken its base from LXNet. Okay. So firstly, I hope my screen is visible. Okay. So in the LXNet, if you see, LXNet, if you see, you'll have input with 3 channels, which is of size 227 cross 227. Now to this input image, you remember we have applied 11 by 11 filter across the 3 channels. 11 by filter here, 11 by 11 by filter here, 11 by 11 filter here. Okay. Now, after certain padding and striding, whatever the configuration that they fixed, we finally got an output of size 55 and 55, and they applied this search 11 by 11 into 3 search kernels. How many search kernels they applied? 96 search kernels. So obviously, you'll get depth of 96. This is 96. Depth is 96. So this is LXNet. See why I'm again discussing LXNet, because already it was done. No, actually, the persons or the authors who introduced ZFNet taken its base from LXNet. So I just want to tell at least one layer difference with respect to LXNet, so that you'll feel comfortable when I'm drawing the complete architecture. In ZFNet also, you'll have input size 227 cross 227. Actually, to be frank, these architectures are repetitive, and once you know how to calculate width and height, then it's actually a little boring also, because the same operations with different configuration. There's no high logic involved in this, just different configurations, that's all. Now this is ZFNet. ZFNet 227 cross 227 image. This is R channel, this is G channel and B channel. Perfect. Now they said, why should I apply 11 by 11 filter? They applied 7 by 7 filter. And don't ask me, sir, why 7 by 7? Why it can't be 8 by 8? Why it can't be 9 by 9? Or why it can't be 12 by 12? Again, I'm telling guys multiple times, this is just an empirical reason or an experimental conclusion. There is no logic involved in this, pure logic. Okay. Now, since the filter is different, the output size may be different that you think. But what actually they have done is, they want to ensure that even though the filter size is different. Here the filter size is 11 by 11, but in the ZFNet architecture, the filter size is 7 by 7. Again, I'm telling guys, ZFNet was purely derived from LXNet CNN. LXNet CNN. Only minimal changes were been done to the LXNet to get the ZFNet. What is the minimal change? First change, they've used 7 by 7 filter rather than using 11 by 11 filter. But if I use 7 by 7 filter, your output size will not be 55 by 55, right? But they ensured that they added proper stride. They added proper stride to ensure that you get the same size. Let us see the configuration for that. They've taken a padding of 0. F already I told F is 7 because it's 7 by 7 filter. And stride they have taken 4 now. Stride they have taken 4. Now let us apply this. W naught is equal to Wi plus 2p minus F by S plus 1. I think by now I have written this formula n number of times, but again, for the sake of completeness. So 227 minus, sorry, plus 2p, p is 0, minus F 7 by S 4 plus 1. So this would be 56. Actually, this is little weird. What they got 56, but to ensure that the output is equal with respect to LXNet, even though I got output as 56, they have taken 55 nano. This is a small change that you have to remember in ZFNet. Even though they got 56, they have taken 55 by 55. Why? Because they always want to compare with LXNet. So LXNet has 55 by 55. Since 56 is close to 55, they have taken 50 by 55 by 55 only. So okay, this is important. Just need to remember. And how many search 55 by 55? Again, same 96 filters, because here we applied 96 kernels. They also applied 96 kernels. That means very minimal changes they want to do to LXNet and create a new network, a new CNN architecture called ZFNet, and see how the performance is. See how the performance is. I'll tell you guys, if you are there at that time when ZFNet was introduced, only LXNet was there till that point, you can also do these sort of changes and test how your performance of the task. It can be ImageNet, the handwritten digit recognition, or it can be any object detection. You can try different experiments on these architectures, different configurations, and you can also come up with some architecture. But people already have tried all possible combinations, almost many possible combinations. Now it's difficult. It's nice. I don't say it's impossible. It's difficult to come up with new architectures. Okay, but still people are research still going on with respect to certain tasks. For example, medical domain, they're coming up with one certain architectures. When you have class imbalance data, they're coming up with one other architectures. When you have less data, they're coming up with some other architectures. People are coming out, but I'm just telling it's not so easy as the earlier days. Okay, fine. Now, in this sequence, I've just discussed only one layer in LXNet, one layer in ZFNet. Like this, we'll have n number of layers in ZFNet. I think let me draw that architecture. I could have taken it. Okay. Fine. Okay, fine. Let us see. It will take some time to draw, but let me do very fast. Otherwise, let us make it like this. Generally, when you look into the internet, you will be having configurations like this. Okay, fine. I'll do it this time. Just let me be very fast and draw very small sized these things. So this is 227 by 227. Okay, and I'll have 3 input channels. Depth is 3, and I'll apply 11 by 11 filter. This is LXNet, Nana. First, I need to draw LXNet, then I have to draw ZFnet. Okay, fine. It will take some time, but I think you're also writing notes along with me. Just draw it, no problem. I'm drawing a small image so that it will take less time. 55, 55. I'm not telling the configuration, Anna, please. I'm not telling the configuration. Because with some configuration, you got this. How do you get that? I already told you. For example, 96 filters. So 96 kernels applied. That is the reason depth is 96. 55 by 55. How you got? I already told. Like this for every layer, I may not tell the configuration. But with similar configuration that I told here, you can also guess what could be the configuration. Okay. Then output for this would be, this is convolution layer, Nana. Convolution layer 1. Then they applied max spool layer. So what they have done is, you know that generally for max spool layer, the output will be reduced by 2. This particular input will be reduced by 2 because generally in max pooling they use a stride of 2 in general. I'm not saying all the cases, in general. So they have got 27 cross 27, and they applied 3 by 3 filter here. They applied 3 by 3 filter here, and they got 27 by 27. And how many search things will be there? 96. Okay. Now they applied 5 by 5 filter here. They applied 5 by 5 filter here, and they got with some other padding in stride. They got, I don't know whether I can fit it in a single thing or not. So it's very how do you say, very boring kind of drawing this, but I have to show you, no? So at least it will have in your notes. 27 by 27 into 5. Yeah, this is max pool. And after that, they have done again one more convolution 2, and they got 23 by 23. And how many search 23 by 23 is? It is 256. 256, 23 cross 23. And then they can apply max pooling. They applied max pooling, and they got something of this sort, 11 cross 11. Actually, yeah, they applied which filter? Let me tell you the size of this. I think this would be 23 cross 23. 11 by 11. Okay, 3 by 3 filter again. 3 by 3 filter is applied here to get max pool size of 11 by 11, and depth obviously will be 256. I'm not drawing any other layers directly, I'm just drawing 256. And again they applied 3 by 3 filter here, 3 by 3 filter here, and they got something like this. They got 9 by 9. And how many, what would be the depth of this? Depth would be 384, no? 384 is the depth. That means they applied 384 kernels. Then they, with some configuration, they got 7 by 7 as output by applying 3 by 3 filters here. And again, the depth is 384. Again, all this thing like AlexNet, I already have drawn it previously. Okay, you just need to refer your notes back. So 7 by 7, 384. Again, they applied 3 by 3 filter here. And 9, and then 7 by 7. They applied 3 by 3 filter, and then got 5 cross 5 with the depth 256. That means 256 search 3 by 3 kernels was applied, and finally they got 2 by 2. They applied again 3 by 3 search filter here. They got 2 by 2, and the depth is 256. And then it was connected to fully connected layers 1, 2, and 3, like this. Okay, this is 4096, 4096 and 1000 classes. It can be 1000, it can be 10 based upon your task. Okay. So yes, this, yeah. Just pasting it somewhere else so that it will be useful later. Okay. Fine. Now let us try to draw the ZFnet now. See, only for comparison, I have to draw this LXNet, ZFnet. Already I've told you that LXNet and ZFnet differs in the first layer. Already I've shown you that. Okay. So this is 227 cross 227. And I'll apply this a number 3 channels. Sorry, it's not a number of times, it's only for 3 channels. And you'll apply 7 by 7 filter instead of 11 by filter. So this is the first difference. And you would get same output as this 55 cross 55. And how many search times? 96 times. 96 channels. And after this, you can see the above difference, Rana. See, there's no difference in this part. No difference. Let me write it. No difference here when compared with LXNet. Now then, next is you have to tell me whether difference exists or not. 27 cross 27, and the depth is 96. Do you have any difference with this? Same 96, 27 cross 27. So no difference. I'm not even writing the filter sizes. That means because it was the same. Then after 96 cross 27, 27, they got 23 cross 23, and the depth is 256. Okay, directly I'm just writing a single dimension, or you want me to write? Okay. It's time taken. So 256. That means this is also same. So just see the width, height, and depth. Okay. Then you have received 11 cross 11. 11 cross 11, 23 after 23, 11 cross 11, and then this would be like 256 because this is a max pool operation. So 11 cross 11, the same thing, it's same thing as this. And after that, after that 11 cross 11, you will have 9 cross 9, 9 cross 9, and then your depth would be here. The difference comes from a C. To tell you only this difference, I have to draw that. Here, if you see 11 cross 11, till this point, see and above 11 cross 11 into 256. 11 cross 11, 256, same. Now 9 cross 9 is also same, but see this 384 because they have applied 384 kernels. Now, at this ZFnet, they have applied 512 kernels. Very minute differences, Nana. Very minute differences. They applied 512 kernels. That says it's 9 by 9, 9 into 512. Next layer. Next is 7 by 7. Only the number of kernels are changing. That's all. And now again, this also there is a change. Here it is 1024. 1024. But if you see here, it is 384. They have applied how many kernels? 1024 kernels instead of 384. There is another difference. Okay. And then I think let me just draw it here. After that, at 7 by 7, you'll have, but they're maintaining width and height. Sorry, width and height same, but they're increasing the depth. That you have to realize. 3 by 3, and how many search 3 by 3 you'll get it is 512. 512. Now is it different with respect to this? Yes, this is 256, this is 512. That also differs. and then here. Okay. Then finally after 3 by 3, 7 by, I think it's not 3 by 3. So after 7 by 7, it's 5 by 5. Sorry, it's my mistake. 5 by 5. So now after 5 by 5 only, you'll get 2 by 2. Finally, you get 2 by 2. And how many such 2 by 2? It's 256. Now there is no difference. Here also we have the same thing, 256, 256. And finally after this, having 4096, 4096, and finally 1000. So this fully connected layers also, there is no change. Now see guys, maybe I have to take one more color here. See here, Nana. The first difference is this. This is my first difference. This is my second difference, third difference, fourth difference. I'll also label it the same thing here. First difference, second difference, same 2, 2, 3, and 4. Now you realize what is it? What are the differences? There are only 4 differences. The first difference is, let me also take a picture of this. It will be useful for me later. Now, what are the differences here? The first difference is in layer 1, filter size is different. One filter size is different. In other layers, number of kernels are different. Number of kernels are different. So that means depth is different. 512, 1024, 512. But here 384, 384, 256. Okay, and ZFNet. So now the question is, sir, you're telling about LXNet, ZFNet, and LayNet. Till now we discussed 3 architectures. But sir, which one I have to use? I already told last time. These architectures came across multiple competitions across various years. Okay, let me tell you at least few of them now. Okay, LXNet was introduced in 2012. ZFNet was introduced in 2013. Then till now we discussed these two, and along with LayNet. LayNet is pretty old and nowadays people are not using it. So people have started using from LXNet. And this is my official first architecture, second architecture, third architecture that we are going to discuss is VGG, and the fourth one is GoogleNet. Fifth one is ResNet. These are the, of course, we discussed LayNet, but I'm not including that here. Only these are the mostly used even enough. So 5 standard architectures. Even in your projects, you're going to use this. VGG was introduced in 2014. GoogleNet was introduced in 2014 later part, and ResNet was introduced in 2015. And there are modifications to this. Okay, but only few modifications. Maybe if ResNet they came up with 22 layer. In 2016 they came up with 15 one layer. Then they increased to 101 layers. They increased to 151 layers. 151 layers. You imagine. So okay, layer count here and there plus or minus, but and next coming 2016, 17, 18 like that, only these architectures would have been changed in terms of number of layers. Okay, even in 2015 they came up to this is actually 152 layers now. In 2015, 152 layers. But in our LXNet, how many layers are there now? Can anybody tell me? In LXNet, how many layers we have? Or in ZFNet? Layers doesn't mean that, of course, you should not count the input layer. You should not count the number of input layer. This is not counted. This is not counted. And this is layer 1. Let me just write the numbers. Layer 1. And the next layer is a max pool layer. Max pool actually is not considered as a layer. Max pool is not officially considered as layer. So this is also a convolution operation 2, and this is also okay. I think ZFnet, right? 27 cross 27, 23. Yes, this is ZFnet 23. Yeah, this is also the max pool layer, and then this is third layer, and this is fourth layer, and this is fifth layer, and then this is again max pool layer, fifth layer, then this is sixth layer, this is seventh layer, and this is eighth layer. Total 8 layers are there in ZFnet. Okay, so whenever we ask you to count the number of layers, generally we don't count the max pool layers because there's no parameters involved in the filter. Okay, whatever. See, 2012, 13, 14, 15, like 3-4 years, what they have done is, now which one to be used? They have taken a common data sets or common task like handwritten digital recognition or detecting various objects in a particular data set, standard data sets. We'll see that. They've taken a standard data sets and they cross-checked their architecture. For AlexNet, they got 16.4 error rate. For a particular data set, if we take the handwritten digital recognition, they got 16.4 error rate. And ZFnet, they got 11.7 error rate. That means reduce it, right? In 2014, for next architecture VGG, they got 7.3 error rate. See how the error rate is getting decreased, right? Because I want the error rate to be as less as possible. And for GoogleNet, they got 6.7 error rate. See, again, it was reduced. Again, for ResNet, you will not imagine, guys, it is 3.5 error rate, 3.57 error rate. My later architectures even reduced this. See how beautifully they reduce the error rates. That is the reason in our projects should use only ResNet because error rate is 3.5. So no, it's not like that. Nana. Generally, we will use these three. Most of the cases, sometimes you are for your particular task because they've tried only with the standard task, but for your new task, sometimes VGG will give good accuracy or less error rate. Sometimes GoogleNet, sometimes ResNet. Very less chances of AlexNet and ZFnet giving less error rate, but sometimes very less chance, but it's there. So that is the reason people really use these three architectures for their projects. So now shall we jump into those architectures, VGG, GoogleNet and ResNet? We'll do that, madam. Okay. So, but again, these are the standard architectures that you have to remember for your projects. Okay. Now the next architecture, that is VGG. Okay, I'm not going to tell you the names because the names are invented based, I was named based on the others. So just go through the internet and get those names. So VGGNet. Now AlexNet. See, it's just since AlexNet they have done after convolution they've applied max pool layer. Again convolution, max pool layer, convolution, max pool layer, something. Therefore, they followed like this. And ZFnet, what they thought is, okay, let us take the inspiration from AlexNet only, but let us change filter sizes, and then number of kernels. Why should I use the same kernels as AlexNet? Why should I use the same filter as AlexNet? They come up with this. They don't know why. See, it's like more of like a brute force from the previous architecture. Why should I do this? Because there is no answer for this architecture. They came up with why should I do this? Why should I do this? Why should I do this? They came up with these questions and they added the configuration, different configuration in terms of filters and in terms of kernels. Now, the third architecture, VGG, thought, why can't I have constant filter size? Constant filter size, because if you observe, Here they have used different filters. Here also different filters with different sizes. Now VGGNet came up with the question, why should I change the filter size? Let me use the same filter size. They have used a 3x3 filter across the entire architecture. There's a question that they want to answer. What happens if I use 3x3 filter across all the channels, across all the layers? Okay. And they also want to make sure that the output after the convolution or max pooling should be of same size. In most of the cases, it should be of same size, at least in the convolution operation. Leave about max pool. The convolution operation also reduces width and height, right? At least in the convolution operation, they want the output to be of same size. And one more thing is, they've applied multiple convolution. Of course, this has been done by ZFNet also, where earlier in LXNet, after one convolution they applied max pooling. Again, after one convolution they applied max pooling. But in ZFNet also, I don't know whether you observed convolution max like this. It went, and there are continuous convolution operations also. Continuous convolution operations also. So same sequence was followed. Even there are certain cases where there are 3 convolution operations, one after the other, then maybe followed by max puller. Whenever they applied convolution layer, they ensured that all of them, because after applying convolution, the width and height will differ, right? But they ensured that with the necessary padding, this is important. How they ensured equal weight. For example, after applying this convolution, the output width is 28 cross 28. Again, after you apply convolution, again the width and height will reduce, but they ensured that necessary padding is added to ensure that the same width and height. Again, they added necessary padded bits here, and they got same output sizes, this 28 cross 28. So that precaution they have taken. This is just, why can't I do that? Why should I have all convolution with different sizes? I can have same size after the convolution operation. Okay. Now let us see that architecture, which is architecture. These are the questions that they raised and finally came up with this particular one. So here it is 224 cross 224, Nana. 224 cross 224, and you have 3 channels: R channel, G channel, and B channel. This is your input image. And they've applied some configuration. I'm not telling again for what is the configuration. With some configuration, they got this particular output, that is 224 cross 224. That means you see, observe, the input is 224. After applying the convolution also 224. How do I get it? You need to add padded bits. Padding can be 2, 3, 4, 5. You can just put your thought. If I put padding is equal to some x, I would get the same size as input, same width and height as input. Now, if they have not stopped at this, immediately they've also applied one more convolution, but again they added necessary padded bits to ensure that I get the same width. Here it is 64, here also it is 64. That means this is convolution operation 1, convolution operation 2. Now after this is maybe considered as one single sequence. Now after this, they've applied max pool. But max pool, obviously, general by default, the stride is 2. Whenever the stride is 2, the input would be reduced by 2. So here it will be reduced by 112 cross 112. And this would be around 128. Why 128? Because if you observe previously, this is treated as a single layer. Of course, there are 2 different convolutions, but they want to ensure that they understand both the patterns from convolution 1 and convolution 2. That's the reason they've taken 128, 64 plus 64. Okay. Again, this is my max pool layer, Nana. This is my max pool layer. And after this, they applied convolution operations of and some with some configuration they got 56 cross 56, and they applied 256 search kernels, and they just, I can just copy paste here because the same thing. Oh, sorry. The same thing I have to repeat it again, Nana. I also feel it's repetitive, but unfortunately, I have to tell this. Na? Otherwise, you'll tell that sir did not tell, even though it's boring. Fully mechanical. Na? There is no logic involved in this, only experimental results. So, I've taken 256 cross 256, the same. That, see, one thing you need to remember in VGG, the width and height of every convolution in a sequence would be same. That you have to remember. That if you remember that point, that is more than sufficient. Now this is same thing, and again after this they applied max pool, and max pool also, you know that 56 it will apply it will reduce by 2 almost 28 cross 28, and they have not applied 256 plus 256 plus 256. They have taken only 1 256. Last thing 256. This is max pool, and after this again they've applied some convolutions. The convolution depth sizes, they want to maintain the size of 28 cross 28, and how many such 28 cross 28s? 512 such things. Again, I need to copy this for 2 times. Yeah. So again, this is a sequence of convolutions. And after that, they applied again a max pool. Then obviously the output would be reduced by 2. Then they've applied 512 because they have taken the last convolution depth. They've taken, because see, you should, one thing you need to remember, Nana, if I am applying 28 cross 28, 512, if I want to apply max pool onto this, what is max pool? Take the first frame, and maybe if my filter size is 2 by 2, then in this 2 by 2, take the maximum. Again, go to the next one, take the maximum. Go to the next one, go to maximum. Go to the next one. That means for one frame, you'll get one small frame. That means reduced frame. 28 by 28 is now reduced to 14 by 14. Again, you take the next channel and apply the 2 by 2. That means how many search filters you have to apply? 512 filters. For each 512 filters across each channel, you'll get one small output, that is 14 by 14. Okay, there will not be any parameters, that you have to remember. So this is max pool layer, and again unfortunately again I have to apply the convolution layer. I have to, like, I think it should be around 14 cross 14, and the depth would be 512. Again, I need to copy this. I could have done this. So, yeah. Okay, again, these three becomes one convolution operation. And after this, fine, last but one, I applied max pool, where your output would be almost reduced by 2 because my stride is 2. So here it is 512 is my depth. So with this, I'm done with the VGG NetArc, which is very, very popular architecture, like Google Net and ResNet. VGG generally I have seen in many applications being used. And after this, finally, you have one complete fully connected layer, 4096. Then again 4096, maybe again 1000 classes. If you have 10 classes, it would be 10. So generally you'll apply softmax here. Have you understood, Nana? There is no understanding here. Just it's a configuration. Okay. Just keenly observe this. Keenly observe this. Okay. Okay, fine. So now let me go again, copy it. I'll use it later. Ouch. So I want to again make it clumsy. So I copied, was deleted or what? Okay. So this is about VGG architecture. But if you see here, guys, I just want to tell you a few things. See, these take-home points are important because I've written this is one thing that you need to remember, the error rates, and then you need to remember these differences between LXNet and ZFNet. The take-home points are extremely important. You may not remember the kernel sizes and filter sizes and the dimensions. Okay. Similarly, VGGNet, what you have to remember is kernel size is 3 by 3 throughout the entire architecture. This is one thing that you need to remember. And then if you see in non-FC layers, non-fully connected layers, if you calculate the number of parameters, you know that till this point, if you calculate the number of parameters, you know how to calculate number of parameters. That is filter width is 3, filter height is 3, and the number of kernels, number of input channels into number of kernels that you want to apply. If you do it for above calculation, above architecture, you'll get approximately close to 15.8 or more than that, here and there, maybe close to 16 million parameters, 16 million parameters. This is for non-fully connected layers. But if you do it for fully connected layers in the sense 14 cross, how do you connect? 14 cross 512 into 4096 into 4096 into 1000. Okay, so if you do this, then you would really get a value which is, just a second, did I do any mistake? 14 cross 14, I think some mistake was done from my side. What? Oh, it's not 14 cross because this is my last layer. Yeah, this is my last layer, not this. This is, sorry, this is my last layer, right? So it would be number of parameters would be 512 cross 7 cross 7 into 4096 between these two. Then between these two plus 4096 into 4096 plus 4096 into 1000. If you simplify this, you would get something around 122 million parameters. 122 million parameters. So for fully connected layers, between fully connected layers, how many parameters you require? Around 122 million parameters. That means what? If you see for non-fully connected layers, even though you have n number of non-fully connected layers, just with the 3 fully connected layers, you see the difference. 122 million, 16 million. Okay, but imagine even with this non-fully connected layers, if I implement as a full deep neural network or fully connected layers, imagine how many parameters. So instead of using all fully connected layers, I'm using non-fully connected layers so that my parameters would be just 16 million. Only the last few layers I'm just using 122. That means indirectly I'm reducing a lot of parameters because I'm just using non-fully connected layers here, not fully connected layers in the previous or the initial layers. Okay, so that's a main use of CNN drastically reduces the number of parameters when compared with DNN. Okay, fine. Now the next task I thought of completing today, but I think it will take one more class. I think not complete class, but here and there. Next time, I think in next class, what I do is I'll draw and project directly. Otherwise, it is taking a lot of time even to draw, and it's boring to you to look at while I'm drawing. So now I'm done with VGG. Next two architectures that are remaining is GoogleNet and ResNet. One thing, since 3 to 4 minutes are there, here the main purpose of GoogleNet, why Google has come up with their own CNN architecture is their questions. Even Google has thought in the same direction. Imagine Google, they also have a similar thought in these directions, and they came up with this architecture. And their question is, okay, so they've observed one thing between AlexNet, between LayNet, AlexNet, and VGG. They observed one common thing. That is, number of layers are increasing. Oh, if they thought, okay, if the number of layers are increasing, that means the error rate is also decreasing. That is what they have observed. As the number of layers are increasing, the error rate is decreasing. Then they thought, okay, let us go with some maybe 32 layers or maybe 64 layers, something like that. See, if directly they have gone for this 32 or 64 layers, why the company will be called Google? Then before they apply, they have something in their mind. Okay, if we increase the number of layers to 32, 64, 128, the problem is number of parameters will increase. Yes or no? That means indirectly number of computations also will increase. That means for your training, because generally you will see maybe in your projects, once you start implementing, you will see that it will take some 2 hours. It's not like machine learning, Nana, where you just get the output of decision tree or random forest in just 2 seconds to 3 seconds or 1 minute. You'll realize even Google Colab, you get sometimes it will take maybe around 1 hour to get the result. Sometimes it takes 2 hours. Once you run your model, some VGG net or Google net on your data set, it can take 2 hours. It can take 20 hours also. It can take 200 hours also. It can take 600 hours also. No, there is no limit. There is no limit, Nana. That is the reason people will not try their own architecture, because this is the problem. That is the reason they always start with the standard architecture. Then based on their loss, they customize it, or the number of epochs would be less, so that their training time will not be so high. Okay, so that is the reason we are discussing GoogleNet. Okay, now let us come back to this. So blindly they did not increase the layers to 32 or 64 because they thought number of parameters will increase, number of computations will increase, then obviously the time consumption will be high. So to handle this problem, they came up with multiple concepts are there. It's an absolutely smart architecture when compared with previous architectures, Nana. It's a very, very smart architecture when compared with other previous architectures. They put their real mind into this and they came up with this. They came up with a concept called one-by-one convolution. They come up with a concept called one-by-one convolutions. So one-by-one convolutions would reduce the computations or would reduce the number of parameters, even though the number of layers are increasing. So what is that one-by-one convolution? And there are a lot more points, very, very interesting points I have to tell you, because this is logic based. I love to tell this logic based rather than just drawing mechanical diagrams. Okay, that we will discuss. That's the reason I am not telling enough. I just gave you the motivation. Maybe in the next class we'll try to continue with this. Okay, let me stop the record.